Whack 100 wasn't lying. OTF Jam really did flip on Lil Durk. And now, things are spiraling out of control. Jam just hit the stand and aired out some jaw-dropping secrets that nobody saw coming. So what did Jam actually expose? And what does this mean for Durk's future in the game? Let's get into it. From ride-or-die loyalty to a cold-blooded betrayal that's got the streets buzzing. The second it dropped that OTF Jam had turned on his longtime brother Lil Durk, the whole rap world went into meltdown. What started as back-alley whispers turned into a full-on federal case. Pulling back the curtain on how deep betrayal can go in the world of drill rap, OTF Jam, real name Casey Hess, wasn't some sidekick. He was part of Only the Family, the Chicago-based rap label and movement founded by Durk back in 2010. But this wasn't just about business. OTF wasn't just a label. It was survival, loyalty, and blood oaths written in the grit of Chicago's South Side. You had to pick, stand by your crew or save your own skin. Now here's where it gets even wilder. The bond between Durk and Jam? It ran deep, way past industry ties. We're talking real history. Jam got convicted for attempted murder back in 2010 and did 12 hard years in prison. He walked out in February 2022. And the whole time, Lil Durk held him down like a real one.
He's super solid, bro. Like a lot of like, you know what I'm saying? He said, Jam, get out that jam, I'll give him 50. He ain't got to ask again, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
From commissary to court support, Durk had his back when it counted. His loyalty became street legend. When Jam got out in 2022, Durk didn't just dap him up and keep it pushing. He went all in. Reports say Durk dropped over $50,000 on Jam, handed him the keys to a fresh car, and even set him up with a house. That's not just love. That's real loyalty with a price tag to match. Durk wasn't just talking that family talk. He backed it up with stacks. Most folks would have left a homie like Jam in the dust after doing a heavy bid. But not Durk. He stood tall and made sure Jam came home solid. And it wasn't just about money either. Durk kept shouting Jam out through the music, putting that bond on blast. In King Von's 2020 track Back Again, Durk rapped, "Jam, get out that jam, I gave him 50, ain't gotta ask again." That line right there, it hit the streets hard. When you name drop someone in a bar like that, you're not just repping them, you're claiming them as fam. The loyalty wasn't one-sided either. Jam shared how Durk's music had already been ringing out at block parties and cookouts in Chicago way before the Billboard charts even knew his name.
We realized that's your childhood friend, right? When it did 12. That ain't your childhood friend no more. You don't know that man. That man been going for 12 years in prison, man. You don't know that man no more. You know that? Don't be the same. I ain't the same, yo.
That means their connection wasn't built in a studio. It was built in the trenches. This wasn't some fake industry link-up for clicks or views. Nah, Durk and Jam came up from the same streets, with real bonds that ran way deeper than fame. OTF Jam's whole journey was a classic Chicago tale of survival, loyalty, and the streets that raised them both. Just like many in OTF, Jam reps the South Side, ground zero for drill music and the heart of OTF's roots. After getting out, Jam wasn't just chilling in the background, he jumped right into the OTF spotlight. He popped up on tracks like No Complaints, VOTF, Jam, and Focus. That 2023 drop VOTF Jam made it clear. Durk wasn't just cutting checks. He was handing Jam the mic and giving him a shot to bounce back through the culture. But then, everything took a nasty turn. After all that loyalty, after 12 years of holding it down, wild allegations started spreading that shook the core of what OTF claimed to stand for. Once Lil Durk got hit with legal trouble, blogs, forums, and big names like Whack 100 and DJ Academics started talking, and the whispers turned into full-blown accusations. The streets went cold when a source article dropped on October 26, 2024, reporting that court documents from the U.S. District Attorney's Office in L.A. listed OTF Jam as a government informant. It claimed he had been wearing a wire and secretly feeding info to authorities for years. Years. If this was true, it flipped the whole script. Everything fans believed about OTF, the brotherhood, the ride-or-die loyalty, it all started to crumble. Folks were stunned. The hip-hop world split in two, some defending Durk, others straight up calling foul.
Doing all that, but they ain't do for me. So certain, I felt the type of way when I knew you had money. Not meaning that I want to do some snake to you like that, but in my head, maybe. Not no snitch, but I might want to do something to you. I might want to do some grimy.
Chicago rapper King Yella came out swinging, calling out how prison time can change people and how tough it is to stay solid when you've been locked down that long. He wasn't just talking smack. He was exposing raw truths about what loyalty really looks like when pressure hits hard. King Yella was speaking facts, straight up. He touched on something most folks don't want to admit. Doing time changes people, and not just a little. We're talking about 12 years locked in the system. That kind of stretch can flip your whole mindset. You might come home looking the same, but the way you think, move, and trust, that's never the same again. He wasn't out here clout chasing. He was breaking down real psychology. Yella talked about what happens when someone feels like they got left behind while they're doing that bid. Even if it ain't about snitching directly, he showed how resentment builds up. That pain hits different when you're behind bars thinking, I had your back, but where were you when I needed you? That type of feeling? It can sit heavy on a man's chest. And then there was that $50,000 Durk gave jam. People in the streets made it sound like that was everything. But King Yella put it into perspective with some real street math that had folks rethinking the whole story.
Man, I could break down and spend $50,000 right now in 2 seconds in my head to you right now, and $50,000 is gone. Coming home, whatever, you gotta get crib, clothes, cars.
'Cause when you get out after 12 years, you're starting from nothing. You need a crib, clothes, a whip, money just to breathe while you figure your next move. 50 bands sounds like a lot. But in real life, that can vanish fast when you're trying to rebuild everything from the ground up and still keep your name alive in the streets. Yella's words hit hard because they weren't just opinions. They were lived experience. And suddenly, that so-called loyalty from the outside didn't seem as solid as people thought. Now here's where it all really exploded. Court transcripts started leaking, and the streets couldn't believe what they were reading. Paperwork started floating around online, and it allegedly confirmed what people were scared to say out loud, that OTF Jam had been wearing a wire in multiple situations tied to federal investigations. And suddenly, that loyalty Durk had shown for over a decade was looking like it got traded in for a backdoor deal. People were scrambling to make sense of it. Was Jam really plotting while smiling in Durk's face? The same Jam Durk put on tracks, gave a house, a car, and 50 racks?
OTF Jam did 12 years for attempted murder back, I guess around 2010. He got out in 2022, right around the same time of the Quando situation. And he allegedly had been wearing a wire for the last 2 years.
From 22 to 24.
Yeah.
So he immediately got caught up?
Yes. That's what.
The betrayal felt unreal, like a real-life movie, only worse because this was supposed to be family. Even longtime OTF supporters were left stunned. Social media blew up with fans digging through old interviews, old lyrics, trying to figure out when the switch flipped. Memes, expose videos, and conspiracy threads started popping off left and right. Some claimed Jam might have felt pressure from the feds. Others believed he was bitter, feeling like what Durk gave wasn't enough for what he went through. But no matter how you sliced it, the streets saw it one way. You cooperate, you fold, and there's no coming back from that. What made it even crazier? Jam hadn't publicly denied anything yet. Silence only made the rumors louder. And the fact that all this heat was hitting right after Durk's legal troubles, it looked real suspicious. Now everybody's watching, waiting to see if Durk will finally speak on it, or if this silence means he's already made his move behind the scenes. While the internet kept spinning wild theories, one thing was clear. The silence from Durk was loud. No tweets, no interviews, no cryptic lyrics, nothing. And for someone as vocal as Durk, that had people thinking he was either plotting something big or hurt beyond words. Some fans started defending him, saying Durk was just staying silent for legal reasons. But others weren't buying it. They felt like his silence meant Jam's betrayal cut deeper than anyone expected. After all, this wasn't just a random homie. This was someone Durk invested in, trusted, and brought back into the spotlight.
I named OTF Jam.
That was wired.
Very ironic name. 'Cause
Jam
now
got
he
him
put
in a
everyone in a
jam.
jam.
Did 12 years.
12
got
years.
out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 50,000.
Right.
This. Made mention that ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat. Caught a gun case, but eventually.
Insiders started whispering that Durk had already cut Jam off, quietly. No more mentions, no more music, no more appearances. Just gone. Like he never existed. If that was true, it meant Durk had made his decision without saying a word. And in street code, that speaks louder than any post ever could. But Jam, still no denial, still no explanation. He was moving quiet too, and that made everything even more suspicious. 'Cause if the allegations were fake, wouldn't you come out and clear your name fast? Some folks started digging deeper, looking into court documents, trying to match voice recordings to timestamps. It turned into a full-on investigation by fans, bloggers, and street dudes alike. Now the question on everyone's mind is, if Jam really flipped, what did he give up? And was it just about Durk or something bigger? This wasn't just rap beef anymore. This was looking like chess, and someone just got played. The streets were buzzing, but not everyone was buying the hype. While the case had gone super public, with 5 other OTF members also getting hit with charges, the pressure was now on the whole crew. Still, some solid voices from the trenches were standing firm, saying people were too quick to scream snitch without real proof. And they had a point. Social media turned into straight chaos. Reddit, X, blogs, all of them flooded with wild theories, random evidence, and heated debates. One day it was Jam flipped. The next it was Durk set him up. Everybody and their cousin had a hot take. One Reddit thread on Archer Ecology straight up said, "Bruh, one of the shooters is telling," sparking a flood of comments about someone inside OTF possibly cooperating. It became a full-blown digital manhunt, with fans turning into detectives overnight. But through all of this, Jam stayed completely silent. And that silence? It only made things worse. Folks started picking apart old interviews, reading body language, rewatching clips, zooming in on anything suspicious.
Personally, so my mom's side, that St. Life Evans, St. Lawrence, all that shit, Evans Mob, his squad, all that like that. Jam, I don't think Jam. If Jam was gonna snitch, he'd have been snitched on a long time ago. Jam's done a lot of time in jail. Jam.
Then came the biggest bomb of all, the wire talk. Word hit the net that Jam had allegedly been wearing a wire for 2 whole years, from 2022 to 2024. If that's true, then every single convo he had with Durk during that time might have been recorded by the feds. Every hug, every handshake, every "we locked in for life" moment, possibly tapped. That wouldn't just be betrayal. That'd be one of the longest, coldest undercover plays hip-hop has ever seen. And if it's real, the whole foundation of OTF just got cracked wide open. Whack 100 came through with even more fire. In an interview with DJ Vlad on October 27, 2024, he claimed Jam's cooperation started right after he caught a second gun charge following his 2022 release. According to Whack, the pressure was on, and with the threat of going straight back to prison, Jam supposedly chose to work with the feds instead of doing another long stretch behind bars. But then, the internet exploded. A piece of footage dropped that nobody saw coming, and it turned everything upside down. A video allegedly showing Jam sitting in an interrogation room, calmly eating McDonald's, went viral in seconds. And this wasn't just some regular clip. This was a man possibly selling out his day one while taking bites out of a Big Mac like it was just another Tuesday. The irony hit hard. One of the most serious accusations in the game. And it was all happening over fries and a shake? the clip took on a life of its own. Reports from Urban Islands and Hot 97 ran with it. X, formerly Twitter, lit up with jokes and memes. Bro told for a Big Mac. Sold out the gang for a double cheeseburger. He flipped over a value meal. It was wild. The internet took a potentially career-ending moment and turned it into straight-up entertainment. But it didn't stop there.
So when they started saying his name, I was the first probably like, I don't believe that. I got to see proof. Out of everybody out that thing, y'all saying Jam the one that's just going, no.
Another bombshell video dropped just days later on October 30th. This one allegedly showing Jam wearing a wire while standing next to Durk. That clip had the comment sections in full meltdown. People were pausing, zooming, enhancing, trying to catch every detail. If that wire was real, it meant the betrayal wasn't just silent. It was recorded. That 2024 clip showing Jam looking hella uncomfortable? Yeah, that one turned the internet into a full-blown crime lab. Folks were watching it like it was a courtroom trial. Every blink, every glance, every shift in posture got picked apart like it was part of some FBI file. People swore up and down they saw guilt written all over his face. One user said, "The way he looked into the camera is crazy. You can see it in his eyes." Others claimed he looked nervous AF, using that body language as proof that he had a wire on him during that interaction. It wasn't just comments. It was a whole movement. Zoomed-in screenshots, slow-mo breakdowns, side-by-sides. The internet turned into a CSI episode overnight. And before long, those wild guesses started turning into facts in people's minds. Social media became the judge, jury, and executioner. People acted like a twitchy shoulder or shifty eye was all they needed to convict someone of betrayal. The speculation took over, and the lines between real evidence and viral drama started to blur. But while the timeline was playing detective, real voices from the trenches started stepping in. 600 Breezy, a known name in Chicago's drill scene, came forward and defended Jam. And that wasn't just some throwaway opinion. Breezy claimed he knew Jam personally, not through blogs or the industry, but from the streets. His words carried weight. He wasn't just vouching. He was pushing back hard on the narrative that was swallowing Jam alive online. And when someone from inside the circle speaks up, you gotta listen a little closer. 600 Breezy made it clear. What the internet was saying about Jam didn't line up with the man he knew from the streets. He wasn't just brushing it off either. He was telling folks straight up, slow down, check the facts, and stop throwing life-ending labels around without real proof. In the streets, and in hip-hop, getting called a snitch is one of the worst stains you can carry. And Breezy wasn't having it. He was basically begging the culture to stop jumping to conclusions before destroying someone's name forever. But not everybody was trying to hear that.
Yeah, he a real street. And he had plenty of chances to snitch on for a lot of other if that was the case. He wasn't, no. I don't think Jam got nothing to do.
Other voices in the game were feeding the fire. Big names like DJ Academics and Whack 100 kept the rumors alive, throwing in their own theories and commentary. Academics even posted on Instagram saying Jam might have flipped after doing 12 years and catching another gun charge, and hinted that Durk's $50,000 welcome home gift could have been twisted into evidence of something shady. Then Whack 100 hit the convo with another take, saying this might not have been some planned betrayal from the jump. According to him, dudes sometimes get jammed up and try to make their support money look like payment for dirty business, just to cut a deal and save themselves. And then it got real. King Yella, one of Jam's loudest critics, revealed he started getting threats from people defending Jam online. He even said he clashed with someone heavy in the comments who was riding for Jam, showing just how deep this drama had gotten. People weren't just debating, they were going to war over this. And all while the internet ran wild, Jam stayed quiet, letting the storm keep building. After months of silence, rumors, and wild theories, something nobody saw coming finally happened. OTF. Jam spoke up, On December 17, 2024, he took to his Instagram stories and broke the silence that had been building heavy around his name. And it wasn't no weak denial either. It was a full-on call-out to everyone who'd been dragging him for months. He posted, "I ain't lied to your face about Sly Guy. When the discovery comes out, you gonna see I'm not how the feds got onto us or built their case. I'ma let the paperwork come out because it's gonna tell it all." Jam wasn't just brushing off the accusations. He was daring the world to check the facts. In street culture, that paperwork is everything. It's the only thing that clears your name when you're being called out as a rat, and Jam was putting all his faith in it to silence the noise. But he didn't stop there. Jam started throwing shots too. He called out a dude named Boone and even made messy comments about OTF Nikki, who's known to be Lil Durk's baby mama. That post made it clear. Jam wasn't just trying to clear his name. He was coming for everybody who tried to play him. He flipped the script completely, from silent suspect to a man on the attack. And the fact that he was willing to risk his name, and maybe even his safety, just to speak his truth, that showed how deep the damage went. The allegations weren't just internet talk anymore. They were wrecking his real life.
Got caught up in something and used that as a way out of his situation to say, all right, he paid me this to do that. I believe that's what it's gonna come down to. I believe the individual that's saying Lil Durk paid him to do something, I believe that's just money's Lil Durk genuinely gave this individual just.
In the world of hip-hop, being labeled a snitch is one of the worst stains you can carry. Worse than almost anything else. And OTF Jam. He was betting his entire reputation on one thing, that the official court paperwork would clear his name for good. But here's what a lot of folks weren't talking about. With all the body language breakdowns, TikTok theories, slow-mo footage, and meme madness, nobody was showing hard evidence. And when people finally started looking at the real court documents, Jam's name wasn't even in there. Reports from XXXL and Sports Nikita, two outlets that actually reviewed the indictment, confirmed that Jam's name, or even his initials, didn't show up in the federal paperwork tied to Lil Durk's case. That directly contradicted what all those blogs, posts, and loud internet voices had been saying. So all the whispers, all the clips, all the side-eyes might have been built on nothing solid at all. Meanwhile, while the internet stayed locked on Jam, the real war was going down in federal court. And it was Durk who was on the front lines. This wasn't a slap-on-the-wrist state case. This was federal charges, and when the feds come for you, they don't play. The stakes were sky-high. Durk brought in Drew Findling, one of the heaviest-hitting attorneys in the hip-hop world, a guy known for defending A-list rappers in serious battles. And what he laid out was brutal. If Durk gets convicted, he's not doing a short bid. He's facing life in federal prison with no shot at parole, no comeback tour, no second chance. This ain't a game anymore. It's survival. The feds weren't just playing. They were coming all in on one of Chicago's biggest rap stars. And this time, they weren't just building a case. They were building a war chest. The scope of the investigation into Lil Durk was insane. We're talking over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence, stacks of surveillance footage, phone recordings, and more than 20,000 pages of reports. This wasn't about one incident. This was a multi-year, multi-city federal takedown that had been cooking in silence while Durk was out making hits. They had eyes on everything. Multiple jurisdictions, high-tech surveillance, long-term intel gathering, the kind of stuff they used to bring down cartels. And the Los Angeles case? That was just the beginning. The feds weren't just accusing Durk of being involved in a single crime. They were trying to label him the head of a violent criminal organization. According to prosecutors, his label, Only the Family, OTF, wasn't just a rap collective. They claimed it was a hybrid criminal enterprise moving in the streets under the disguise of music. Durk now faces serious federal charges: conspiracy, using interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and multiple firearms offenses. And then it got even darker.
When you got the DMs from Jam's people threatening you?
I wasn't no thought. I just told you. What did I tell you? I don't know. Let me tell you. What did I say? First, he kept making posts, and then I'm like, what the? So I sent a question mark. Like, what the? He like, my boy, keep Jam name out your mouth, you peon internet. I said.
In November 2024, a superseding indictment dropped, stacking a new charge, stalking resulting in death. That added a whole new level of legal chaos to the already heavy situation. But it didn't stop there. The feds also linked Durk to another killing, the murder of Stefan Mack, a 24-year-old believed to be a leader in the Gangster Disciples. He was shot and killed in Roseland, Chicago on January 27, 2022, and prosecutors were now claiming this was part of a pattern of violent retaliation tied to OTF. Even though Lil Durk hasn't been officially charged in that Chicago hit, an FBI affidavit alleges he was involved in a murder-for-hire plot, and that's where things started spiraling even further. DJ Academics laid it out. This wasn't some sudden investigation that came out of nowhere. The feds had been watching Durk for years, just waiting for the right time to make their move. And now, they were stacking everything they could find. The Chicago accusations hit hard because they pointed to a pattern, not just a single violent act. Prosecutors claim it all tied back to something personal: the 2021 murder of Durk's brother, Dante Dethang Banks, who was killed outside a nightclub in Harvey, Illinois. That loss reportedly sparked retaliation. Durk is accused of placing bounties, real money, on rivals. The feds say he offered cash to have Gangster Disciples members taken out, and even more chilling, they allege he put a price on the head of a witness's family member. If proven, this paints a picture of organized, long-term payback. Not just street drama, but a strategic operation. Then came a wild plot twist. In May 2025, new rumors exploded online claiming that TTE Lil Ted, aka Baby Threat, and brother to OTF Didi, might actually be the real informant. YouTubers said Ted had been arrested back in October 2022 and allegedly gave up key info to dodge charges, possibly motivated by wanting to protect his son. One viral post from May 15th read, "TTE Ted is the one snitching on Lil Durk and OTF. Everybody need to apologize to OTF Jam." Just like that, the target shifted again, proving how messy and unpredictable this case had become. The truth? Buried in a storm of speculation, street whispers, and federal heat. No wonder the trial kept getting delayed. The deeper it got, the harder it was to separate facts from fiction.
When I'm fighting my case. What's up? Like, he was one of the main that held you down your whole bid.
Hell yeah. A lot of the guys did, but hell yeah, he was.
I hood like that.
Well, prosecutors state that these transactions and the informant's recordings played key roles in linking Lil Durk to the murder-for-hire plan. There's a guy named OTF Jam.
The trial, originally set for early 2025, has now been pushed back to October 2025. And as that date creeps closer, one thing's for sure. This ain't just another courtroom battle. This is hip-hop history in the making. Whether Lil Durk walks free or ends up convicted, the outcome of this case is going to send shockwaves through the entire rap game and could change how the feds come after rappers moving forward. The stakes have never been higher. So buckle up, because whatever happens next, it's going to be huge. If you've been locked in with us this whole time, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment to let us know what you think is really going on behind the scenes. Don't forget to share this with your crew, and we'll catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. This story's far from over.